Welcome back, everybody, to Mark Ellis Realtor Unplugged, the show where we talk about all things real estate. I am super excited today about a very special guest that I have with us on the show. This guy goes by many different names and wears many different hats. You may know him as Jerry Chicone, Chico, or as what I like to call him or refer to him as my main man, Jerry. Everybody, let's welcome Jerry to the show. Jerry,
Thank you, Mark. Thank you very much. That was quite an introduction.
Well, you know, only for a guy like you would I have an introduction like that.
All right.
How you been, man?
I've been good. I mean, I've been really good because at this stage of my career, I work a little and I play a lot, and I'm playing all over the country.
I love it. I love it. You're my idol. I tell you that all the time.
Well, I appreciate that. I don't want to be anybody's idol necessarily, but if I'm going to be anyone's idol, I'd want it to be yours.
Hey, I love that. I love that.
All right.
So I wanted to have you on the show. Obviously, you have been in sales since 1979.
Oh, my Lord, yes.
And selling jewelry. And I think prior to that, you were selling garments.
That's garments, indeed.
And so I just wanted to know, I mean, how does a guy stay relevant, stay successful, since 1979? What's your secret?
I don't know if it's a secret because it's really a plain formula.
Okay.
I know that many salesmen have read books trying to learn about the secret of sales success. How do I become successful? I know a guy that's making $500,000 a year. I'm making $50,000. What is he doing differently?
Yeah.
So they read a book, and the one that entertains me the most is called, and I can't remember the author, and probably don't need to because the book is called The Science of Selling.
Okay.
And I'm here to tell you that sales isn't a science. It may be an art form, but it's a really simple formula.
Okay. Do share.
You want to know that formula, Mark?
I would love to.
I like to call it the three basics of sales success.
Okay.
And I don't care if you're selling chewing gum or ladies' underwear or real estate or cars. It doesn't matter. Anything that you sell, tangible or intangible, you need to follow these basics. The number one prime basic, and it's really as simple as the nose on your face. Most people look past it and they make it complicated. But it's as simple as this. Talk to lots of people every day. That's it. That's really all you have to do. Talk to lots of people every day. You're in real estate.
Yeah.
You're at the gas station pumping gas, and you see a car that's got out-of-state plates. You strike up a conversation because that is what you do.
Sure.
And you learn very quickly that they're relocating here. Oh, if they're relocating here, have they got a house? No, they're shopping for a house. There's your opening.
Yeah.
You're talking to somebody. If you didn't start that conversation, you would never know that that's a potential client. And in your business, even as in my business, everybody's a potential client.
Yeah.
And that's the reason that you follow that basic. Talk to lots of people every day about your product.
Yeah.
On the phone, as you just interact with people, if you're on the street, talk to people every day. You can't sit at a computer, and that's what bothers me a little today. I'm not here to tell you what bothers me, but sometimes I've walked into car dealerships, and the sales reps are staring catatonically at their computer screen.
Yeah.
Is there a customer in that screen that I don't know about?
Right.
No, that customer is right in front of their face. I walk in there, I've got money. I may not look like I have money, but I want to buy a car. Nobody greeted me.
Yeah.
Not one person greeted me. I had to go up to them and as if I were interrupting them from their catatonia.
Yeah.
Okay? They're not following the basics.
No.
They may sell a car by luck, an online buyer or something, but the real successful salesman follows that basic. Talk to lots of people every day. That simple.
I love it. And I think that's how you and I met, actually. We met in the car business.
We did.
I was at Kaywood a while ago.
We did.
And you walked in there looking for something.
Yeah.
And I was on you like flies on shit.
And
I said, I don't care what that guy said. He looks like he has money. So I'm going to go talk to him.
It didn't take you long to determine that I wasn't looking for a new car. I was looking for a car for my grandson. And you went right to a car that was affordable and boom. And
Yeah.
And you filled that need.
I did. And I think over the years, we've done a lot of business. I think I sold you a few other cars after that, and we've always done business with a handshake. Hey, Jerry, this is what I got for you. This is what it costs. Are you in or you're out? You know, we would negotiate a little bit, and we would do business with a handshake. I think one of the things that the listeners need to know is what business you're in, because we haven't really discussed that a whole lot. But you're in the jewelry business.
I am.
That is a tough business to be in. I mean, with the world of online sales and everybody kind of shopping online, how have you managed to be successful since 1979 in the jewelry business with everything going online, and you basically have brick and mortar stores that you're doing business with? How does that happen?
You know, brick and mortar stores today know that they have to tie into the internet, and most of them have a website. But that leads us into the. I didn't know you were going to lead me into it, but very tactfully, you've led me into the second basic of sales success. And to combat that internet competition, you have to be nice. You have to be nice. I call it super nice. Nice when the weather isn't, nice when circumstances aren't, and more importantly, maybe most importantly, nice when people aren't. You know, I'm in jewelry, but most of my jewelry sales have been somewhat in retail. I had a retail store for 20 years, but the most important part has been in the wholesale end of it, where I sell to the retail bricks and mortar store.
Okay.
And many times when you walk into a store unannounced, they're not exactly receptive. Now you can really go into character and practice being nice. You know, some people aren't nice naturally.
Yeah.
If you're naturally nice, that's easy.
Yeah.
But some aren't, and sometimes you don't feel like being nice. So you may have to practice.
Yeah.
Look in the mirror. How do I sound? How do I look? Be nice. And I think combating that internet sales, that client hasn't interact with anybody.
Right.
They have an opportunity to interact with somebody that's nice. And even if you don't close them on their first visit, they're going to remember that you were nice. They're going to want to come back.
Yeah.
And I think we've combated the internet by going a step further.
Yeah.
And drawing them in as if they're family, bringing us to the third basic of sales success.
What is that third basics, Jerry? You've got me intrigued.
That's right. Give service. 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 Not just any old service, super service.
Okay.
In a jewelry store, there's so much service that you can give that you don't really have to charge for. The first thing you do is you look at their jewelry. Oh, may I clean that for you? And you clean their jewelry. And when you put it back on her finger, she's amazed because you've not only cleaned it, you polished it. And it looks like a brand new piece of jewelry. And that's service.
Yeah.
If you sell them a diamond ring, something can go wrong with that diamond ring.
Yeah.
Just like a car. A car can break down.
Sure.
A little diamond can fall out of the ring. You replace it at no charge, and you do it while they wait. While they wait, not make them come back on Friday. I'm too busy.
Yeah.
The minute that customer walks in the store, you have a shop in the back room, or at least you should if you're a good retail store, and you replace that diamond, and they're not going to forget it. They're not going to go anywhere else because you gave them super service.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, you and I have done some business together over the years, obviously. I bought that bracelet from you, and I think I gave it back to you just last year and said, man, can you polish this for me? It's got a bunch of scratches and stuff on it.
Yeah, because you're an animal.
Well, I know, I am. But you brought it back. It looked brand new.
Yeah.
You know, and I was impressed by that. You didn't charge me anything. You wouldn't take my money. You know, we've always just done really good business.
That's the service part of it.
Yeah. And I respect you for that. So I got to ask you this because this has just been on my mind for a while.
Uh-oh.
What is the largest diamond you've ever sold?
You know, sometimes the largest diamond isn't necessarily the biggest diamond.
Okay.
Because if you sold a diamond that's $200,000, may not be the biggest stone you've ever sold, but it's the nicest quality stone. So, you know, I sold a 4-carat flawless D-color for a great deal more money than an 8-carat pear-shaped that I think went out of our store, I don't know, 2002, somewhere around that time. An 8 carat pear shape was probably the biggest stone, but the biggest sale was in excess of 200,000. That flawless D color, so it's finest of all possible color, internally flawless, certified by GIA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That would be cool.
Oh, that was far more exciting than the 8 carat pear shape.
I can only imagine. I can only imagine. And I know you travel all over the country.
Yeah.
You're in Missouri a lot.
I am.
I mean, you go all over the country to not only purchase stones, but also to sell them.
Mostly to sell them now. I since the store was sold, I now am slowing down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I select the stores that I sell,
Okay.
and that's all I do. I have one main line, and I sell it to a select number of stores, and I sell them because they were nice.
Yeah.
They followed the basics. I like them,
Yeah.
so I go back to them. And I have now about 40 clients that I call on, whereas I used to have 400.
Wow. It's
And
not,
and that's what someone in sales can look forward to when they're older and they want to fine-tune their territories.
sure. And it's nice that you actually are able to pick and choose at this point in your career. You know, you're at a point in your life where you're like, if you're not nice, I don't want to do business with you.
Yeah, that's right.
That is powerful.
I'll share a story with you, and I'm not going to say who it was, but it was a retail store in Michigan on the west coast of Michigan. That's as distinctive as I'll make it, but I went into his store. I had an appointment, and I think if you have an appointment to respect the person that made the appointment with you should, in a timely fashion, turn that presentation over to you.
Mm-hmm.
But he didn't. He was milling about the store. And, I've done this long enough to know, I'm not going to interrupt you if you're waiting on a customer and you're taking in money.
Sure.
That's more important than talking to me about buying more product.
Of course.
So I waited. And when I'm not exaggerating, when I tell you I waited 4 hours.
Wow. That's a long time.
And that's not right.
No, I would have left myself.
So would the average person. But I had an assignment. I had a passion I was filling. And I saying, you know what? I'm going to take care of this guy.
Okay.
And I'm going to either wake him up and he'll become a better person and he'll be more respectful or he'll think he won.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So when he finally came out to sit down, he says, okay, what you got? Well, I already got my line packed up. I had it laid out at first. I packed it all up. He said, well, where's your line? Unpack it. Get it out of there. I said, you know what? I want you to do one thing and one thing only. This is going to be a very short presentation.
Yeah.
I said, see this smiling face? Memorize it because it's not coming back.
Wow.
And I picked up the bag and I left. Because I'm not certain if he ever realized that he shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
And why did he do that? Because, I could see him in his office. And I said, you know what? I could interrupt him and say, hey, I have another call to make.
Yeah.
I could have said, hey, I'll come back another day. I wanted to see how long it took, and I was amazed it took him 4 hours.
Wow.
See?
Some people
And
just
guess
don't.
what? This is even better. He's out of business. He went out of business long before COVID. So COVID or any economic downturn did not drive him out of business. He went out of business, but you know why? He didn't follow the basics.
Yeah.
He wasn't nice.
Yeah.
You have to be nice when the weather isn't.
Absolutely.
Be nice when circumstances aren't. Be nice when people aren't.
Yeah. That's 100%, Jerry. I couldn't have said it better myself.
That was probably one of the best sales calls I ever made.
I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. And it's a story.
And that was a while
you-
back. I was young. I needed the money.
Yeah.
I wanted that client. He was actually a very good store at one point.
Sure.
Paid his bills on time.
Yeah.
And I wanted that customer. But you know what? I gave it back.
Mm-hmm. There was 2 life lessons in that story, Jerry. A life lesson for him and a life lesson for you.
That is correct.
Right? So we have to take those life lessons and move on. But you'll never forget it, and neither will he.
That's right.
So there's 2 good, valuable things that came out of that.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, what would you tell me is like maybe one of your most memorable moments in your career, or maybe a memorable lesson in your career? What would you say?
I have a lot of them, but I have another one that's maybe similar in some respects.
Mm-hmm.
I had an appointment with a customer in Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Mm-hmm.
He made that appointment at a trade show that I was working in Minneapolis. So I had an appointment, and it was 2 days after the show.
Mm-hmm.
It would be a Wednesday morning. It's snowing like crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Remember, circumstances, right?
Yeah.
I drove from Minneapolis to Sioux Falls, generally a 6-hour drive, took about 8.
Yeah.
And, I drove during the night. I stayed in Minneapolis. Probably wasn't good planning. I probably should have got a hotel in Sioux Falls,
Mm-hmm.
but I was already in that hotel. And I get there, and, you're a little tired after driving all night, but
Sure.
he made that appointment. I thought I was going to open a really good account.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to the store. I'm full of snow. I walk in, I dust myself off. I had sample lines in those days that stacked up, and I got this wheelie I'm coming in. So it's a big deterrent getting out of your car. I couldn't park in front of the store, no parking. Parked across the street, came through the snow, walked into the store. And I said, "Hi, I'm Jerry Chicone. I'm with Gottlieb & Sons out of Cleveland, Ohio. And I have an appointment with Rusty." She said, "Oh, he's downstairs. Let me tell him. You have a card?" I gave him a card and a pen with my name on it. She went downstairs, gave it to him, and I could hear him yelling at her, literally yelling at her. "I told you that I'm busy today and I can't see any salesmen." She said, "Okay." She gets her tail between her legs, comes up, and she says, "I'm sorry, sir. He's downstairs taking inventory." Taking inventory?
Mm-hmm.
"And he doesn't have time to see you." I said, "Oh, no, you don't understand. I have an appointment with him."
Yeah.
He made an appointment. Here's my appointment book. I wrote it down, Rusty Thorpe Jewelers, right? She goes back downstairs. Now the man is enraged. He's yelling at the top of his lungs.
Mm-hmm.
"I told you I am not seeing any salesman today. I'm not even dressed for work. I don't care who he is. I don't want to see him." She come back up, and she's almost in tears. "Sir, I'm so sorry." I said, "That's fine. That's okay." So in the meantime, when I walked in, I had a cup of coffee,
Yeah.
and I didn't plan this. It just happened. It happened.
Oh gosh.
As if from the skies came this power.
Okay.
So I had that cup of coffee on the counter, and of course I had a overcoat over a suit and a tie. In those days, you were always dressed up, because this goes way back to the 80s. So as as I'm taking my coat off, okay, to kind of dust myself off,
Yeah.
I hit the coffee cup, and it turned upside down, and it's spilling all over the counter.
Oh no.
And I looked inside his showcases. He looked like he had just put brand new elements of display material in the showcase. And I'm going, "Ma'am, could I get a towel?" And she's running and hiding from me now because she thinks I want to make another attempt at seeing this buyer.
Yeah.
I said, "No, ma'am, you don't understand. I spilled coffee." She went and hid in the office.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, "You know what? So now I take the coffee. I'm rubbing it all over the counter, and lo and behold, there's a leak on the seam of the glass.
Yeah.
And the coffee's leaking down into the showcase. And I'm going, this is not good.
No, that's not good.
I put my coat on. I took my coffee cup, right? I left all that coffee, smeared it a little more, and said, "Sayonara." Now, you'd think it ends there, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
No, the Lord smiled on me.
Okay.
I never used profanity. I never got upset.
Yeah.
You know why? I'll tell you why. I was following the basics of sales success.
Yeah.
I was being nice
Mm-hmm.
when people aren't.
Yes.
So now I grab my bag. I look in my JBT. That's a book where you look at credit ratings, Jewelers Board of Trade.
Mm-hmm.
I see that, Greenstone Jewelers, right across the street, 51 rated. 51 is good because the second number is 1. That's how he pays his bills.
Okay.
I go across the street. I walk in there. There's this little soft-handed, Zoftic Jewish man,
Mm-hmm.
half-balded. He walks up to me. "Hey, kid." He says, "What you got?" I said, "Well, I'm with Gottlieb & Sons." "Oh, that's a nice company. I know the company." He didn't really know it, but he recognized that it was a Jewish last name.
Yeah.
I met the nicest man in the world.
Wow.
Saul Greenstone. He said, "Sit down, kid. You want a cup of coffee?" I said, "I don't know. You have any tea?" He pours me a cup of tea. We sit down. We start talking. Lo and behold, he buys a 1-carat diamond and a real expensive ring to put it in.
Okay.
I walked out of there with a nice order because I sold a full 1-carat diamond and a ring, and the whole package was at that time was about $4,500.
Yeah.
And I left the guy across the street. So I made a friend, and I followed him clear until he passed away. He made an impact on my life because I was just a young kid in those days.
Yeah.
I wasn't even 30.
Mm-hmm. When one door closes, another one opens,
That's
Jerry.
right. And that's the lesson to be learned. Let's get back to basics. When everything else fails,
Yeah.
go back to the basics of sales success. Be nice.
100%. Jerry, as we wrap this up, I got to ask you, because I ask everybody, one piece of advice that you have ever received, good or bad, what is it?
Good advice from whom?
From anyone.
From anyone.
From
ever.
anyone about
Yeah.
anything. What is one piece of advice that's kind of stuck out in your mind?
Well, I have to say it's from my father. My father said this every day before I left the house. And I'm going to get a little choked up here, but because today is August 1st, and it's my birthday month. And always sometime within my birthday month, I do something to remember my father.
Sure.
This afternoon, I'm going to the gun range and shoot his .357
Nice.
that he passed on to me. But the advice that my dad gave me every morning, I never followed it because I didn't understand it.
Sure.
I understand it today perfectly. And that is this, quote, "Stay on course and make good choices."
Absolutely.
End of quote.
You know what? He was a smart man.
Yes, he was.
And those are words to live by, Jerry. Seriously. Man, I appreciate you coming on the show today.
Okay, man, I appreciate being
so
here. Thank
awesome.
you. Thank you for thinking of me, Mark Ellis.
You know what? You and I, we just vibe, man. And I was like, I got to
yeah.
get Jerry on this damn show. And I'm so grateful for you, man. I tell you this all the time. You're like my brother from another mother. And we've talked. We've had bourbon together.
That's right. Well, it's time for another bourbon.
It is. It is. We've
Not
tried to
this minute, but another minute.
We've always tried to solve life's problems. And no, I appreciate you coming on the show.
Thank you.
Anyone who's watching the show, obviously, if you like what you see, please subscribe. We are on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, all social media platforms. You can also find us on iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, anywhere you listen to your podcast at. Again, we do appreciate you listening to us. Please stay tuned for the next podcast. I have another very special guest for the next show. And just remember that tough people can get through tough times. Have a great day.